All right. Greetings, saints. Welcome to. Oh my goodness. I'm so tired.
Around the lamp.
Yeah. Greetings, saints. Welcome to Around the Lamp. This is where we gather and speak about beautiful things in the Lord, about Jesus Christ, our
ATL.
Savior. ATL.
Yeah.
It's me, myself, Jotam Puti, with Mr. Gift Masego and Sister P.
Sister P only. We don't want to continue and misspell
Oh.
or mispronounce.
Anyways, today we're going to be talking about something that's interesting and that affects our daily lives, which is technology.
And it's
What?
funny because it's bringing us to you right now.
So was let me ask you guys just personally, what's the most consistent piece of tech that you have with you?
This is P.
My phone.
Your phone. What
My
phone do you have, by
phone.
the way?
Why are we doing this? I have a phone.
Fancy.
She has,
I have a
she has
phone.
her phone. It's a me phone.
It's a me phone.
It's an iPhone.
Yeah.
You?
iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah.
iPhone, me phone. So, how important is your phone to you?
Or am I on the spot?
Yeah, you are
Okay.
on the spot. You started. You have the me phone.
You might not be on the spotlight, but you're on the spot.
I have a phone, right? And it's really important to me because a lot of information is on there. Memories, first pictures. And I
She's
also
at first pictures.
and I have videos as well. But I also have passwords for other websites or even my email, just passwords for that I need for anything.
Yeah.
This is pretty like that.
I'm telling you.
She's telling us about
That's the reason why you're always on your phone. Those are the only
She's
reasons
telling
you're
us
always on your
about
phone.
the professional reasons.
Yeah, no, man. I don't know
keep
anyone
my-
who picks
But
their
you
phone and
guys
say, you know
didn't
what?
ask me.
I want to
My
check
password
that
in
password.
here.
I want to
I
see
have-
those
I have
pictures.
my calendar.
Yeah.
For my pictures. This is my book.
I want to watch those videos
Memories.
again and again.
This is for my gallery.
Social media, Google,
Come on. Give us the juicy reason why you
Instagram,
have
TikTok.
a phone.
Okay, TikTok, I don't have an addiction to that. I might have an addiction to Instagram. Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah,
I think we all have.
all
We phones, social media, it's one of the most consistent things. But right now, how's your relationship with your phone?
I try not to always be on my phone. I generally try. I think that's why you see, even with WhatsApp, I take time to respond.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
because,
this guy,
like,
2 to 3 business
I'm
days.
used to not having my phone. So now what happens is that I end up using my iPad a lot or my laptop.
Oh.
So yeah, but I'm aware that social media is addictive, and I try my best not to be there, even though it's hard. But I'm cautious of the fact, and I'm not gonna say I go there for my passwords and pictures. No.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Okay. No, but mainly
You?
me. Oh, my phone is incredibly important to me.
Yeah.
I'm a photographer, so this is how I connect with my
makes-
clients. It's basically my world.
Yeah.
And it's also fun. Social media is everything. It's where you get inspiration. It's where you
Especially
connect
as a
with other
creative,
people.
yeah.
You especially as a creative, you get into a space where you see what other creators are doing.
Yeah, that's true.
You are exposed to more than your own surroundings, so you
Yeah.
get to see a whole lot more. You get to be a bigger and better creator because you're exposed to what other people are doing, and so it takes your brain up there.
Yeah, not true.
So my phone and the way I use social media is very important. But we don't only use it. I mean, we're not only going to be talking about the personal reasons why we enjoy our phones, but we're also going to be talking about how our phones, actually, how do your phones affect you as a Christian?
Sis P.
Yeah.
This is how
Today
we
we're
express
on the
things.
spot.
It's just like
Today we're on the spot because she's
You're not
And they're
crying.
like, okay.
she's treading carefully, I guess. So we are seeing that.
Okay, so I think it affects you a lot because with social media, right, or just your phone entirely, you tend to idle a lot when you have your phone.
Yep.
And we know that An idle mind is it's a project for the devil.
Oh, there's power.
Yeah, yeah.
Project for the devil.
Yeah.
An idle mind is a project for the devils.
Because when you are,
Construction
it's very rare, but it is possible. But when you are holding your phone, it's not that always you're looking at things that are godly or things that edify you or scriptures. You're not meditating. At that time you are loosely just looking at your phone, laughing at memes or whatever is being brought forward to you. There's a lot of information as well that is being pumped into you.
Yeah, that's true.
That
Because-
the information that's being pumped to you, some things you don't need to know. Information is out there, but you don't need to know that.
Yeah.
So, and you tend to know it. And I know for me, I'm an empath, right? So, I tend to react to things that I see.
You are what?
You're what? What's with you in terms? Even
Oh my
last
word!
time you had
And I'm not even sure that I'm using it right, but I'm an empath because
Impact.
I'm empath. Wait.
Empath.
Empath.
Yes.
Does it come from the word empathy?
Yes.
You are someone who's empathetic.
Yes,
You take
but
things
in a
in.
sense that I take things in.
Oh,
So
you
let's say there's
absorb stuff.
turmoil in the country.
Yeah, you absorb it.
And then I'm looking at the turmoil that's
Now
happening
so
in the
depressed.
timeline. Now I become depressed because somebody died or something, and I'm just feeling the pain of the people who are just oh my word, gone too soon or whatever.
Contact fear thing.
Like example, yesterday, the MPC decided to hit us with another 50 basis points.
Hey, man.
You
That's
know,
when you work in this sector.
It's like the interest rate, so they just hiked, ne? And
They're
then
not
it
talking
just
to me anymore.
no, we are talking to everyone.
No, but she's hey, man.
So it really hit me hard because everybody was sharing it and I saw it, and constantly I just went into, I think, almost panic mode because it went to everything's gonna be hiked up, repayments,
And your commitments as well,
and
yeah.
whatnot. So that changes my mood because now I had this focus, but now I'm no longer focused because I'm just thinking about the repercussions of that 50 basis points for my life and for the lives of the people around me and South Africa in general.
Yeah.
So, it tends to affect me like that.
Sure. I think I share the same.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. That's
Well,
why I'm like
she's a bit more technical. It's the repo rate, ne?
50
Yes.
basic.
It affects the interest rate
Yes,
somehow. Yeah.
yes.
That's what I know. It affects the interest rate. So I think the same with me. When I'm on my phone, I struggle with memory as well. Like you can read scriptures, ne? And like memorize a verse. Then after that you go to Reels. Then you're constantly scrolling,
Reels.
scrolling.
They draw you in.
Yeah, they
Wow.
reel you
must be
in.
careful
Like,
because sometimes we think TikTok is bad, but
Mm.
Instagram and Facebook are the new TikTok.
Yeah, they've got the same algorithm.
Exactly.
Maybe even better because wow,
Dude,
Instagram is just good with those. They just feed you what you want.
exactly.
And they know how to spice it up. too.
Yeah.
Yes, they know how
Yeah.
to keep you there for
Christian
2 hours.
content,
That's
creative
true.
content, memes,
Just be laughing,
there's a
inspired,
balance. Yeah.
taught, and all these things. So it's really something that's interesting.
YouTube has it now with shorts as well,
Yeah,
so
YouTube
you can't
Shorts.
escape.
So it's sort of like with phones, it's this world where you could be potentially launched into a world where you could do a lot. But you could also, be in a world where you just get lost even more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's
So
what
it
I
has
love
great,
that.
it has a great potential to like destroy just as much as it has a great potential for you to like feed, to like learn and all these other things.
Yes.
So it's an amplifier.
of some sort.
Yeah. Because if you're falling, best believe it's on your phone, you're gonna fall deeper.
Yeah,
true.
bro.
You're gonna go down there. You like, for example, if you're a Christian and you're in a space where you're like, I'm not doing well with my faith and everything. If you want reasons to leave church,
Oh my word.
they will give
Because
you.
of the algorithm.
Yeah.
It caters to
They will say, you wanna leave church? All right, let me settle this for you. Here's like 10 reasons why you should do it. It's for your mental health. Just leave them.
Yeah.
Leave them.
Yeah,
You feel
because-
better.
True.
Another thing we should realize is that on social media, it's not only a community of believers. Like
It's not.
everybody's
Yeah.
on there.
Everybody's there.
If really, it's rare where you even find a community of believers unless you're on Facebook. But outside of Facebook, it's rare where you see
Yeah.
believers. To be
So it's like social media is a world.
honest. Yeah, it is.
So it's more or less what you are in the real world is what you can put out there and amplify, but it can also go out there and die.
True.
So that's just the dangers of social media and all those platforms. But it's not the only technology that impacts our lives. For example, with phones, what do you think of Bible apps? What do you think of? Because there's this thing I noticed. There's this thing. Christians really do believe that books are better than apps. Let's go. I know this one.
I think it's a human thing. Jay. Having a physical copy of a thing, a book of some sort, it's better in the mind of a person than your digital book. That's why
Is it better for you?
a lot of people, not for me. That's why some people still don't understand audiobooks. They'll be like, audiobooks or in audio Bible. They're like, listening to an audio Bible, I want to read it. So I think people's perception are if you can page through it
If
and
I can
handle
feel it,
if you can feel
I
it,
can hear it
then it's
or
authentic.
something.
What do
But-
you think? Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Continue.
I think for me, just for me, my personal experience, the digital space have done more good for me than bad.
Okay.
The Bible
Of concept.
Bibles we have, you can read 7,000 translations. Unlike a physical copy, you can just NLT. What does NLT say? And you also have what we call now Bible dictionaries to say, okay, there's Garden of Eden. Let me check what Eden means.
Yeah.
Hebrew and Greek is there for you. What other Bible references speak of Eden? Oh, Eden is mentioned here and here and here. So it makes Bible study easier.
Yeah.
And it gives direction to that.
Yeah.
Bible apps have Bible plans where you can read through scripture in a year.
Yeah.
It gives you structure. It has verse for the day.
Yeah.
Where you might not necessarily know which verse to approach for the day, but it says, okay, this month we're reading Psalms. This month we're reading this. You also have hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is basically going deeper to the biblical language of Hebrew and Greek.
Yeah.
So for me, it does more good than bad. It makes me enjoy my Bible study sessions. However, there is also a temptation because the device that you are using already has issues. One distraction or you lacking focus, you might find yourself going somewhere else.
Yes.
Well, let me go to Google and check what does Hezekiah mean. When you get there, Google gives you the news and say, hey,
Hezekiah.
the repo rate has went up. You're like, what is this? And now you're gone. Or you see, one thing I hate, and I've switched it off on my phone, it's notifications. Notifications will distract you. Like maybe you're saying, you know what, God, I'm going to pray. And then you check. And there's a WhatsApp that you've been waiting for the whole day. That's it, you're gone. So
That's fascinating. You switch off your notifications.
I do.
That's why you answer after 2 to 3
Yeah, I don't want
Makes
to.
sense.
The only time I'm on WhatsApp, the only time I respond and see your message is when I decide to see it. It makes me feel like I have control over it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at your message when I want to. I'm gonna respond when I want to.
That's dope.
Because
I think I love that.
my wife's notification, when she gets a notification, always make jokes like, she's gone. You guys could be talking about something, she's here. Yeah, okay. And they're like, I don't want this. Yeah, so I've seen what it can do to me and other people. I don't know what experience you have. Especially, also touch on notifications. What do notifications do to you?
I think you are being truthful when you say they take you out of the moment, because immediately, let's say we are here, right, and I get a text from my
Mention put it on
mom
silent.
talking about something. Irony, right?
Yeah.
And I get a text from my mom saying something, and we are here just talking about something. Obviously, now I'm distracted by this. I'm gonna be distracted by this text because I want to understand. What do you mean somebody fell? What were they doing? Now, this conversation that is no longer important.
Yeah, secondary.
What I saw now, it's what is occupying my mind because I have secondary questions about what I just saw. So I need to respond to her.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna end there because she's gonna respond to me and I'm gonna ask another question. And I might need to even leave this meeting because of that.
That's interesting because for me, notifications are very important.
Yeah,
If a client sends me a message,
yeah,
I cannot respond when I go on WhatsApp.
yeah,
Timing is very important.
Yeah.
If they say hi, I need to say hi.
yeah.
My name is George, I'm your photographer and stuff. You know, talk to them immediately. So I understand where you guys are coming from. Definitely it's important to have that personal space where you feel like no one can just distract you with a message. No one can just like go into your room and you're in your room. Like have that sense of real life where you're like, I can't just go into my room and 30 people start calling my name outside, you know? But it can happen with social media where you go into your space and you're like, who's that? And then people are just, hi, how you doing? How was your day?
Everybody's
And
wanting
stuff,
something.
By the
you know?
way.
Yeah, so with me, the experience is, even if I've gone into a space where I can say, okay, it might not be cool, but I can watch a message come through and decide not to respond to it. Yeah. I don't have the energy for that right now. But kunabantu engaziyo ukuthi especially when it's a stranger who's contacting me, it might be business. Hi, how you doing? Let's talk. You know? But social media is so great in the aspect that you can separate these two worlds. You can have a business WhatsApp where you're like, only people who want to talk business with me contact me here, so that you can be in that space where you're like, okay, I am not responding to any personal text, but lay a business, I understand. But like I said, being a photographer, you end up in a world where people reference you and some people know you personally. So they give your personal numbers. It's not something that you can totally ignore. But the development of technology, and as in the world of being Christians, I definitely understand how it can be destructive and both building,
Beneficial as well.
you know, beneficial. Because just think of the fact that I normally say this to purists who say that the book, this is the Bible. When you're a Christian, you need to carry the book. I'm like, let's take it to this understanding. It didn't start as a book. It started as scrolls. Why don't you carry around scrolls? Or let's take it back to Moses. It was in stone, brother. The real word was written by God on
It
stone.
was chiseled on
It was
stone.
chiseled
Go
on
get those
stone.
stones, yeah.
Like, go get those stones. This is not laying on a printer. You get? So if you really want to be hardcore,
Probably by not even a Christian printing company. Let's be honest. You don't know. who
by
prints
some
these things.
printing company.
Yeah, we're like, oh, more money. Oh,
Come, this.
NLT, they want it. King
let's-
James, just give them. So if you really want to be a purist, go find them stones, brother.
Because that's where they started.
That's where you, oh gosh.
Yeah.
You know what? Not Ngasho, that man, wonderful. Because like when it comes to the topic of technology, I usually wonder how it affects Christians in our world. How does it affect us? Like, for example, we can get into an attitude where we're like, when I'm fasting, I'd like for there to be some music. You know, I'd like to play some gospel. I'd like to have some, you know, technology around me. Things like, some sermons. Things that technology provides. Because what then do we say if you're going to go like, if I don't have music, it's hard for me to fast.
Hey, that's
So here's a space where technology is a crutch for you because it puts you into an atmosphere that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten without it. Because no person is going to come and sing for you to fast or to be emoyeni. I cannot preach bazalwane kungakaqali ingoma. Okay, ingoma mangekho.
Menyeko.
exactly.
Because especially for us as a Christian,
Estradeni. Abanye can't preach without a mic. But as well, estradeni, there's no mic, there's no pulpit.
yeah. Can you imagine in a space where, as a Christian church, we know how important technology is to us. We use mics. We use the big like
Monitors
and speakers and all that stuff.
Projectors, I mean.
Projectors.
The works, the
We
lights,
take it up
the
there.
smokes,
You know? Now, khona abafundisi abayihla ngeentambo and just to illustrate. Just to make sure you get the picture. They're like, whoa, Jesus came down. So all those things make for the atmosphere you get. Because let's say we take all that away. How much Christian do we have left?
True. It's true. That's why I pray that we don't fall for that. Even Abantu Guti, I can't do this when this is not there. And you're thinking the church has been there. I mean, Abu Paul used to preach powerful messages without strings, God's message has always been out there. I mean, think of churches in China and churches in Afghanistan and in the Middle East.
Yeah, well, some of these things are just impractical.
Some of these things,
you can't have a mic.
Or even simple things like posters. One thing I've seen where a church, if you poster a command, something's wrong, And you're thinking, we can't have like a prayer service or a church service without a poster. Maybe invite people in the streets. So I think technology has become woven to, especially Abazalwane, let's be honest. Abazalwane are modern people. Like Tina, we are modern. They want like
we are up to the point where if ugesa wuko, this is a strange service.
Asipostola la, not true. Shayizandla, so true. It's some won't admit, but it's woven to how we do things. How we pray. Some can pray without other strings. Some can preach
but
without
I
other
think
strings.
kumele sikhuze or sizikhuze self.
Yeah.
Or it's like these things are here to aid us, but they are not there to replace.
Yeah, because initially I do believe what they were in, like they got into the church so that
They can help.
They can help.
True.
Because you realize with the growth of the Christian church, it was at some point impractical for one preacher to speak to thousands of people and hope ukuthi bazomuzwa bonke.
Yeah, true.
So in that situation, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a speaker. I have something that's going to amplify
I'm
your
a
sound.
crusade, you think then you
Manje no-5 nize kunto ku-cottage meeting. Hayi kumele kusetwe ama-mic ispeaker hayibo.
Akusana leyo intimacy leyo, yokuthi uhlale phambi kobrother.
Nezi Bible study mic. What is this?
Hayibo, chill. Because we end up associating those things, those instruments that are meant to enhance certain things, we end up associating them with the faith itself.
Yeah,
We would say, this is a service.
Yeah.
And without these things, then we don't have church.
True.
So technology is good in the aspect that it edifies and puts certain things out there where we cannot reach certain people. Because just like what we're doing right now,
it's technology.
we're speaking, it's technology. Someone's going to see this, and we have never met them.
And
We probably won't never meet them.
Yeah, when we speak about aiding and actually enhancing, so this conversation could have just been the three of us sitting right here.
That's true.
Yeah. Like, and it's based on like C3 and independent C3. But now
That's a beautiful
we have
example,
opened it up for thousands, maybe millions to hear it.
Yeah.
There is
Beautiful.
so
That is true.
Beautiful.
That is true. And also, it will outlast us in the internet. So, it's going to be
It's
there.
going to be archived for generations.
Your children
We'll see. But we bambile must bow.
Your children will say, "That's my father." Gosh.
When they're using 20K, but which cameras were you guys recording at? 1080p. What was that?
It's so funny because I look at old footage that we were impressed with, Uma E250. This was a good picture. Now you're looking at it.
you're like what? And that was the picture.
That was
that
the
time.
picture.
You're looking at it like, why imbi so?
And I'm a phone lawa. So I got with Maraya. Umuntu abeso.
So, also coming to that, like, you see the progression of technology.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think it's going to take us?
AI is interesting.
Oh my God, AI is scary.
I was on AI Zolo watching and learning. I even downloaded Bing. Bing from
Bing,
Microsoft.
yeah.
Now you can ask it questions.
I know.
It's a direct threat to Google.
Yeah.
now.
Are you talking about ChatGPT?
Yeah,
GPT.
it has that. Yeah, it has that feature. Yeah, Chat GPT. There's Chat GPT 4 now.
Yeah.
So you ask it questions, it answers you and stuff. My concern with that kind of technology, especially even in the church setting, when we speak of technology,
Yeah.
could it be making us different believers without us being aware?
Yeah, if you are totally reliant upon it and you feel, because we have a certain trust with the systems that we use. You ask Google a question, you expect the correct answer.
Yeah, Guti, who were
Yeah.
the sons of David? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, now who are the sons of David? Who were the sons of David?
As in David in the Bible,
King David,
right?
yeah. You
the
might know
King
one or
David.
two, yeah?
Yes, I might know blind the most famous one. Which, no, the
Yes.
one who built the temple.
Where do you go to
Hello.
find? Where do you go to find more? The easiest way.
Google.
Google. Because your Bible is
that
not
is the easiest
Yeah.
way.
So-
So you're like,
exactly.
and Google gives you a list.
Exactly.
Whereas if you were to
And you go
actually-
preach that,
yeah.
or you go,
Yeah, whereas if you were actually supposed to like go and get those names, or you
Because let's also be honest,
Absalom.
many won't go to the Bible for scripture references. You'll rely on Google to say, I just summarize it for me.
Just take it,
Yeah.
go.
Because also my concern, especially with these kind of things, that even with technology, it builds believers who are reliant on what they see on YouTube and TikTok as the word of God and
Yeah,
church.
that's true.
Right. So there's no longer the need to say, it's in Mamelo umfundisi wami. There's always like khona umfundisi omunye wase-America man yena
Yeah.
sound. Yena sound yena uyayithola lento
That's
is deep
true.
enough.
That's
So
true.
it creates believers that are different. I'm not gonna say we are wrong, whatever, but it just shapes us kancane in terms of how we do things. Even long drawn out sermons.
Yeah.
Believers can't stand the 3-hour sermon. Because we're used to the sermon must be less than an hour.
That's the other like example of that believer
Yeah.
next to you.
Did
you see
You
him?
spoke for 3 hours.
Which one is that?
Like I'm that kind of guy. Like if you speak for 3 hours, you better have like 300 points.
Plus, when I'm an editor, used to chopping things.
Yeah,
down.
I'm used to like getting
Used
to the
get
point.
into the exactly.
Like,
You know, like
that's the move.
that's what I know. Like that's how I digest sermons. Even with, hey man, even with when you present scriptures, I struggle if you are out of context. I'm like, no. And now you've lost me because you are saying Absalom did this, and it's not Absalom. Maybe it's the son of what. And there's nothing wrong with being in error, but when you are adamant on the point and you sound so confident, I'm like, Baba. So because we are exposed to information. You know, the congregation you are preaching to is no longer Abo Mama Betu Nabo Koko Betu.
Yeah.
Guti Shia, you know, Ujesu Shia, they don't care what Ujesu Shia.
Yeah, it's so funny because like to them, like in to that generation, it was a new story.
Yeah, it was then.
But to us,
It
you've
isn't.
heard the story of
You've
Jesus.
read the story, bro.
Like 100 times.
You've read it for
heard
yourself.
different interpretations.
Yeah, different
And then
translations.
you go to your local church and then you hear that interpretation or translation and then you're like, oh, actually, you know, it would have sounded a bit epic if you'd have added this. But it's your sermon, your church.
So you're
what you
editing pastors' sermons now.
Now you're doing that in but it's interesting, Lente AI, because it takes us to a world where we're thinking, what's it? So in this space where we're being fed information from a trusted source, because a lot of tech reviewers have also cited the fact that Bing, like all of that AI stuff, gets a lot of things wrong.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's messed up.
Especially when you push it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this shows we're moving into a different world where technology is meant to replace human effort.
Yeah.
Because even now we can say, like as Christians, we know what it takes away the effort of going through scriptures, finding out who the sons of David are.
True.
You just ask it and it gives you. It gives you a list.
Summarized, Baba.
Yeah.
Nicely summarized.
So it wouldn't be shocking or it wouldn't be crazy if I would say that we're going to get up to like move up to a space where we don't even need to go and be in the same room to
This
have
is what I'm as you're talking, I'm thinking about
already
that.
happening,
Uguti.
low-key.
I'm just thinking about, have we not done that already with giving up the meeting? not only of believers but of friends.
True.
How many times have you promised yourself, you know what, I need to meet up with this person, but you think talking to them on WhatsApp is enough?
No, just video call you.
Like, hey, you know, like, and now you're like, at least uncle guilty kakhulu ngimfonele man.
Yeah.
Or he like isikhulumile like and ngimbonile on video. So now that we don't make the effort anymore to say, you know what, this Saturday I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm gonna go and meet with this person and we're gonna have a heart-to-heart conversation.
So can we like talk about, okay, fine, we understand the benefits of technology, which is taking us to that space where we can have that contact even distances apart.
Yes,
But
yes.
like, can we speak about, okay, what do we have to lose if we totally disregard being in the same space and having this effort of speaking to one another? Because we can talk about how technology takes it away. But if we don't talk about the importance of it existing, then like, what's the point of fighting for it? Technology can take it away, and what did we lose?
I think technology sends us a bit impersonal, man. Like, because everything is virtual. Even when a brother or sister actually to struggle with something, you're just thinking, you're always thinking about some information that you saw somewhere that's occupying your mind. So if we are more present with each other, I think the relationship is strengthening. You know, like I'm not gonna feel like ish uzong jaja if I say this, because I spend a lot of time with you, and not virtually but physically. Like, even when we are talking, you can pick up on my cues because you are looking at me in the eye, you know, and you can say, Patience, what are you holding back? You know, but over the phone, we summarize because we are busy.
We're quick, yeah.
Yeah, we are busy. I was going through something, but I'll tell you when we meet. You know, I'm not okay, but it's fine. I'll tell you. You know, so there's always that thing. You could see, we are becoming less human, man. Like,
Look at us when we meet and us on WhatsApp.
yes,
Yeah.
Like, you can make a joke, but WhatsApp, there's an expiry date for the joke. You can't drag the joke.
Yes.
But in person, you can drag it.
and we
And
can
you can
laugh.
add, and you
Yeah.
can laugh. But in WhatsApp, you can't.
Have you
Yeah,
seen
that's true.
in social gatherings? Let's talk about a office in Njekpela, and you guys went to eating out or whatever event.
Just speaking about our workplace.
And then
They-
no, I'm
they
just
went- they went
saying.
to eat out tonight.
Yay, Bazaro ningaqale. So you are sitting around the table,
Yeah.
but you guys are gonna have a conversation, but there's gonna be a point where it gets awkward. And when it gets awkward, what do people do?
Default.
They look at their phones.
Default, yeah.
Because we are not used to being in each other's space like that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where I'm getting at. I believe that what we're saying right now is like totally genuine. We're talking about the problems that technology like poses to the personal environment. But you remember, we're also the Christians that celebrate Jesus having said, that guy having said to Jesus, and we usually talk about how this was great faith. Send the word. Just send it. Don't move. You don't have to come to my house. Send the word. Jesus sends the word. The child is healed from where they are. He didn't need Jesus to come there personally, right? So you see where I'm getting at?
I get
Like,
you.
we are the people that celebrate, because you remember in the latter days we will experience a glory that's mightier than the former, right? So as we're moving, as we're getting into the spaces where, okay, we are in a space right now where you can send a word. Is this not like in the same, like similar environment where right now we share this video? Let's say someone in India sees it. They transform, they feel a certain different way. This is the importance of the technology that we have right now, right? So in that similar space, why should we feel or the need to possess the personal environment of saying, this is gift. I'm touching him right now. He's here. I'm speaking to him in the face. Like, and like, is it bad to lose the personal aspects of everything if you're going to be immersed in a world where you learn more and then you give more, and then people who have never even seen you before actually gain more? Because let's say, make example about us right now. We are in this space, we're not talking to real people in a real space, right? We're talking to people, to each other, and hoping that it will impact people that we have never seen.
Yeah.
So we're creating that environment where we're personal, great, but we're hoping for a more greater crowd of people that will not be personal.
But why should you lose the other if you've got the other? Because you can have both. My thing is, I'm just thinking about, I stand to be corrected, brothers. Like, Jesus preached to thousands, right?
Yeah,
there was
he did.
even a point where he was standing on a boat preaching to 5,000, preaching to
without a
4,000
mic, Jesus,
and
man.
whatnot. But after
Jesus,
that,
man.
he goes away with his disciples to
Disconnects.
sit and break bread with them.
Disconnects.
It
yeah.
disconnects from the multitude, and he comes in contact with
Intimacy.
that intimacy.
I
So
think, yeah, true.
the bond of
Finish,
bond
yeah.
of both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have influence with the multitude, but make sure that you also have intimacy with your brethren that are close to you. So
beautiful.
even if umuntu ase India hears this message, it's okay. It has reached them. But nabo, it's now their assignment to bring close the brethren abanabo, to have that intimacy. Which, you know what? I saw these brothers and sisters from South Africa, hey? And bakulme something interesting. And I loved it. But I also want us to have that.
That's true. Going to
Yeah. There's something I Benifunda, and it was a scientific thing and a chemical that happens in your body when it comes to physical touch. Ne?
dopamine.
No, dopamine in excitement. And
not
I
dopamine.
don't remember what they call it. Ne? But it happens, that's why with dogs as well, they're a bit more fond of you when you touch and cuddle and stuff. Kids, and even speaking about in the context of marriage, to say there's verbal communication, but there's also communication that has to do with touch. And the touching communication brings a different level of affirmation that the communication in the verbal one does not bring. And the intimacy aspect of it as well. Because intimacy is also an expression of love. So I think, obviously this question you're posing, you're throwing it out there. I think already you know the answer. But I think obviously we have scripture. We can start with scripture to say God is saying in Hebrews 10:25, do not forsake the habit of meeting together as some have done. And 24, he's saying the reason why I'm telling you to do these things, that you can stir each other up in love and good works. So there are things that maslangana we are better on than masingahlangana. If we did this podcast singahlangana, it's going to be different in terms of the intimacy and the chemistry than we were to do it physically. In fact, you are the one who hates the idea of us doing it virtually. You know what I mean? Which is true. Like there's a chemistry back-corner when you guys are there.
That's true.
Push, you know what I mean? So I think it's an aspect that God knows how and why, but there's something about physically being there with a person and physically touching them and looking at them that is more different than you were to experience virtually. But we must utilize both worlds, especially when it comes to reaching more people.
That's true.
It's important. There are people that we're going to reach virtually, and
there are people that we need
I
to
love
reach
in person.
physically.
Yeah.
I'm laughing when you're saying like about marriage, because I'm thinking about wireless marriages. There's been wireless marriages. Yeah, like for example, Abadala, they had this thing. They don't touch each other. Listen.
Every 3 years, listen.
The funny part is that every time, right? This is the perception that you get as a child.
True.
They don't touch each other, not in public, not in Lini. The only time they have friendliness is in their boat.
I don't even think that's
In Konzweni.
Yeah.
Yes. So that whole I think as African children, we can also attest to this. The fact that our parents didn't make for, that whole space of, but that's for relationships, guys. But for that whole space of being in the same space is as important as, being able to touch someone, being able to talk to someone. They didn't make it look as glamorous and as nice as we're talking about it right now and as we are expressing it, because for them it was almost like, okay, we're in the same space, we're raising children, here's your food, go to sleep, go to work, come back, that's it.
And it was almost like taboo when you see your parents, because like, whoa, what just happened?
What are you doing?
Like in front of me, people.
They're a
Like,
different generation, but I think we're a generation of physical
yes,
touches.
we are.
I mean,
It's so funny.
We
man.
are.
we are a different
Hi, we
generation.
are Shem.
Very touchy, but also very separated by social media.
Unfortunately, it's a temptation that we have
weird.
to. Yeah, that's true.
Say.
It's
That's
weird.
it. It's a
Hey,
temptation that we have to.
We're here, we're like, okay, it's fine.
After we're here.
Yo.
We have a thing that we have to feel the connection to be in the space where we can say, I'm comfortable enough to be touchy,
Yeah.
or to be in the presence of someone. So we don't want to be exposed to spaces that we don't like. We can definitely shut it off and on like that. Whereas in the past generation, having human contact was very, very important. Personal and characteristic development was a thing. Ukubingelelana was such a huge thing.
Yeah, monga bingelele.
Baba ninjani? Kade sanigcina banjani abantwana?
But it, like you stop your journey to greet people.
How? Ade ngani hayi now mfethu ngizokufonela. So angika inumber yakho la.
I don't even call
Danke.
them.
I don't even call you.
Yeah.
You get, but with the older generation, you got that sense of, you know what? It's important to learn bingelela umuntu. There are things that okay, but this is something that we're going to talk about in a different time episode, which is like superstitions, beliefs and stuff that happen, because there are some that are very fascinating. However, like lezo zinto ukuthi kunendlela yokubingelela umuntu, kunendlela yokuacta, like kunendlela yokuziphatha uma ufika emzini womuntu, kunezinto ezenzayo ngendlela ethize. Like this is all coming from that human contact ukuthi okay, abanye abantu abayithanda into kanje, but we more and more unlearn those things. So because we don't know them, when we are exposed to situations that we are uncomfortable with, we shut off and take my phone just here, because you're in a group of people abakhulumayo, maybe bakhuluma isiZulu wena awusazi isiZulu, so uthatha phone yakho, maybe bakhuluma isiSuthu wena awusazi isiSuthu, so uthatha phone yakho. But in the olden days uzosifunde, uzosifunde.
Yeah, even people abazalwa ngabajwayelanga.
Yeah.
You have to. I think one thing that we must fasting food, guys, is easy. We must fast social media and phones. That thing we must say, God, for the next 30 days, I'm off the grid.
Take away your phones.
Because I'm telling you, it's one thing that has a hold on us. And
You think it's just phones though?
and TV, obviously. I wouldn't entertainment. I think we're a generation that likes distractions. Like, as you say, if the conversation is awkward, I'm looking for a distraction.
Yeah.
Whether it's the TV or the phone.
Yeah, I just detached myself.
Those are things that we must work in disconnecting.
You stop talking to these people and
Yeah.
you start talking
To
us.
other
someone
people
exact.
outside, yeah. And now, a character development local manga, it's no longer there,
Yeah.
because you could just bring yourself down and be like, okay, yes, but I'm not understanding.
Asinto zami lezi.
Standing fag in the street.
Yeah, true.
Just yeah,
Khulumela.
uyabo ukuthi izokwehlisa nawe, so khona manje you feel prideful ukuthi bakhuluma ngento engathi okay fine, online, on page,
Yeah,
whatever.
we are in a space where ungaba nengane, here's this thing them. Ungaba nengane ehlala ekhoneni, like, or your neighbor. Ungamazi nize niyohlangana evarsity. Hayi ngoba akaphili, but because unefone uyihlalela endlini,
Yeah.
unabangani bakhe akhuluma nabo efonini.
Yes, akadingi
iPhone.
interaction nani why akumele akhulume nani.
There was a time when muhlala kule kasi wazi wonke umuntu.
Yebo, uyazi umntana walaphaya noma mama lapha baba lapha. Ukuthi that's why nanoma
Akekho
bokuma
umuntu
umuntu
yeah.
ostrange egitini yeni bayabuza.
Ubani?
Yeah, ubani lo yamanje.
Asimazi.
Manje bangena endlini baphume but not us buzz. You see, so we kind of losing something that you were talking about.
Human element.
Yeah, the human element of it. Because manje we get into a space where you will grow up ungazi muntu. And emhlabeni kuphilwa nabantu. You're going to need people. You get into positions, you get into a space where you need a job. Umuntu lo osebenza lapho umakhelwane wakho. Awukazi ukukhuluma naye. Awumazi ngegama ngesibongo, awumazi. Uyena kumele akuvulele.
Or better yet, George, you get to a space akumakhelwana or anything like that ne mara because angithi ukhule umntana osivalele kamereni busy ngefone the whole time, you're not talking to anyone, you go to varsity, now you're exposed to multitudes of people and you don't know how to act, and then now you are in a room in varsity where you have to have a roommate and you've never had a roommate, you've never had a friend, you've never had a sleepover in your life, and it's a nightmare.
They chop you up.
Interactions are weird.
Everything is weird. You don't know what's right, you don't know what's wrong, everything is strange to you.
They chop you up, they pull you in all different
Like
directions.
you are like a
And now you have to fit in. and
Guys,
impress.
in a space where you learned how to say no to people or to things.
exactly.
So now you're in an environment where you're trying to impress people who are just taking you all over and just killing you.
And yazi angazi maybe mara sikhule ngento yokuthi hayi abantu mhlawumbe bashapa abantu banisane buthaka. You remember that thing with what you guys are best friends mara no mhlawumbe lethane buthaka pheli, because I think it was I think it was you Bafone who said to me in a group of friends there's always a leader.
Yeah, there's
always a leader.
Always.
So you don't know how to navigate maybe being a leader or being led, because there's always that duality with you as a person in each and every group of people that you meet. It's either you are being led or you are the leader.
And it also teaches you humility. When you get into a space, you know it's okay. We already have roles. The person who's going to lead this, it makes everything in society just easy.
So easier. And now. Baba, siyabonga. Okay, so we just talking about also indaba yokuba a subordinate, guys. I think I've seen that it's so important to learn how to follow, because it teaches you how to lead.
That's true.
But we all want to lead. So nobody wants to be a subordinate of anyone. So that's why when you get
That's
to
the generation we're
spaces,
in,
that when you get to spaces where you have to be a subordinate, you're always fighting. That's why we always have these people that are like revolutionaries. But you don't always have to be an activist. You don't always have to be a revolutionalist.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be controversial. It's okay to be a follower and
What made the disciples the best apostles is because before they led, they followed. That's what made them great. There was nothing else. They knew this was our time to follow and learn so that we can better lead.
This is the reason why we're having so many different churches that develop each and every
I struggle to see one but that's one thing I also struggle with when people say where's your church? I'm like, no. Now I'm savvy. But no, I'm like, no, I must serve first before I lead. Like there are things I need to learn ngabazalwane, ministry. Before ngizofika lapho ngindinekele, because bengicabanga ukuthi church is about ukushumayela kuphela. Kanti church is also about abana akasebenzi ubaba endlini leyo bayasokola, abusive loyana. How do I deal with those dynamics?
Broken souls. Abantu abazokutshela ukuthi ubani wangenzani,
ubani wangithakatha. Then the same church wena ujayela ukushumayela kuphela.
Manje abantu abadala laba singane zokuxolizana. You see, so you're dealing with you're dealing with real souls here. And now you don't know how to lead.
Exactly.
Mara wachela ukuthi unekhono. So you leave because when awuyazi like that humility of being a submitted person.
Being a steward,
So you leave and you start your own church. The people you lead, nabo bayabona ukuthi leadership yakho. They also leave. They start their own churches. So now we have a chain. Because being a not so great leader has caused the fact that you
No,
have created a generation of not so great followers.
Yeah, let's say that you not being a great follower has led you to being a not so great leader that has caused which abantu that are following you should not follow the right way because you have not exampled for them what being a true follower is like.
They've never seen you follow anyone before.
So, because like, whew,
They've never seen you follow.
yeah.
Is that post you were showing us? But you don't need people. And we are that generation. I don't need people. I can do it on my own. If people hate you, leave them because we think we don't need people. We are leaders of our lives. We are, but no one has ever said, "Hey man, how can I learn from?" Because at least it's a hard thing for this generation to say, "Hey, bafang yaz lento le angisize."
And how can you be a teacher of something that you were never a student of?
Yeah, come on now. True. Actually, it's not a revelation. True. That's true.
That is true.
Even Jesus himself had to learn. As God he was.
Like
he went to church.
He had to learn, Baba.
Why are you going to church, Jesus?
Why are you listening to the Pharisees, Jesus? Why are you letting these men school you? Because later you're gonna tell these men to get off.
Jesus, you can tell them a corner,
You are-
just a corner of heaven.
Yeah, God.
One
man.
corner. Just tell them. You know what? But it's so true, guys. It's really amazing.
It's sad when it happens in the church and believers.
Yeah. So, as a wrap up,
Massive.
technology
Yeah.
has the capability of launching things into a great sphere where you can impact people's lives from every corner of the world. It is such a great tool that we are able to use it to help people that we have never met before.
Yeah.
We can literally send the word. We can literally be in a space where you invite people into like an environment that, you know what, is going to be is going to be life changing and life transforming for them. But in the same time, technology has the ability to detach us from reality so much so that we become people who do not know what being people should be like. We lack character. We get into a space where we don't know how to deal with other people.
Come on now.
And then now we are detached from the community and we have broken skills and we end up hurting other people and hurting communities because of these reasons.
And the chain
We
of
end
hurt
up into
continues.
and the journey just keeps on going that way. Kuney'ngane eziba ney'ngandi ngenxa yokuthi azikwazi ukuthi i-character yokuthi ngithi cha ngiyifuna into kanje. Kuba nabantu abasuka ekhaya be-right bafike ey'koleni bayenza ama-drugs nento ezinjalo because they don't know what it's like to say no. There are people who are blocked from getting into good spaces just because the people abahluleka ukuthi bathi sawubona baba are the ones who are up there who are like, I really don't know you. You know? Ubani wena. Khona into oyiswele ngoba ungakwazi ukubingelela.
Hey.
So we get into a space where now we have to come back to the reality of Ubuntu because we have to find a space where we're like, you know what, outside of technology, this is what it feels to be human. So with technology, it's in two worlds. It's a good tool.
Yazi makhuluma manje ngithi khona usisi ongashatanga manje because uhlulekile ukuzehlisa. Wandlula umshado ngoba I don't need a man.
Wabona uMichael B. Jordan Nkosi yami.
Akithi bathi wasi
Awukodwa le sermon seyiphuma kuphi
bathi wasi bane iPhone inyana banesikhiya sephikanto bathi I don't need a man. You know that meme? You know that meme? But once abane name tag abanesikhiya semoto abane iPhone uthi I don't need a man. So mhlambi bakhona bandlula.
That is true.
So it's true, yeah.
Yeah, so in all seriousness, guys, technology is a beautiful tool.
Yeah.
But be mindful of your soul as well. Keep the reality and the beauty of being human. What do the scriptures say, my brother?
Now, Sis P, you normally the one with the closing verse.
Close us off.
No, but mina bese ngikhulumile, right?
Yeah, ukhothe verse man. Now ukhothe le that centurion, I think.
Yeah.
To Jesus all.
Mina ngiyazi ngama
Azolapha
verse.
umntwana.
Ngiyawabiza nje. Ngiyazi story.
Yeah.
Akuthi ngithi verse bani. kwenzakalani. But guys, thank you very much for tuning on to our podcast.
Thank you,
We
thank
love you
you.
very much,
We do.
and we hope that this inspires you in one way or another,
Yep.
and
Amen.
it teaches you something and puts you in a space where you can also teach other people
Amen.
some of the stuff that we're talking about here. So join us on our next episode where we'll be talking about succession,
Thank you.
church succession.
Basically, ukuthi family succession.
I know.
Okay.
Church
Na
succession.
but
See you.
maseku controversial.
See you.
Ufuna
Bazalwane.
ukuthi athi, malume buyisinto zakamabani. No, not the church.
Okay, bye.